And now it's time for Money Matters. Joining us today is Dylan Schoonover, the Chief Marketing Officer of Strategic Wealth Designers.
And finding a job can be a challenge, especially when there are dozens of people applying for the same positions. We're going to talk about that.
There are some things you can do to stand out from everybody else. So, Dylan, what's your advice?
I would beg people to be creative, and some people say, oh, I'm not creative, I don't have a creative bone in my body. Everybody has something that they do unique. So when I get resumes that are coming in, please submit something with a little bit of creativity to it. Maybe even, this is an outside the box idea I'll throw at you, but what if you had your 10 top jobs and you took like a cheap tablet and you recorded a video of yourself and you mailed it to that employer? That might be a way to be a little creative.
And you would remember that one.
I would. The other thing too is a part of that question is if you're going for a promotion in that position that you already are in the company. Sometimes I had a woman named Michelle the other day at a conference telling me, yeah, I'm getting ready to go ask my boss for a raise after 6 months. And I said, that's cool. What are you going to tell them to justify that? And she's like, well, I just want a raise. I think I deserve it. And I was like, you probably better come with some criteria for why you deserve that raise. So if you're already in the job, be thinking about that.
Good idea. What are some common mistakes that people make on their resumes?
Well, I get hundreds of resumes for the positions that we're hiring for. And so one of the things is very obvious. Don't have any misspellings. Don't look at your formatting. I mean, very simple things. But beyond that, I call it a 1D resume, a one-dimensional resume. And what I mean is we get a piece of paper and we're supposed to decide or choose if this person is qualified for us based on a piece of paper. So please give me something more. Add a picture, maybe add a link to your LinkedIn profile, maybe add a video link of some of the work that you've done, depending on what the position is. But don't just give me a flat piece of paper because there's not a lot that can distinguish you in that.
Well, when you talk about things that could already be out there, what about social media? Do you need to disconnect profiles? What do you need to do?
So all the recruiters would tell you to do that you should disconnect your social media if you're working with a recruiter specifically. I would say that you should leave something up like LinkedIn, but probably disconnect your Twitter or your Facebook, because I've never hired someone from their Facebook page, but I've definitely not brought them in for an interview because of it.
Very interesting. That's a good way of putting it.
For folks who already have a job and, but they're feeling kind of stuck, do they go for the internal promotion or should they maybe start looking for another job?
I think it depends on a lot of factors, especially more and more people are wanting more and more things out of their positions these days. They're wanting to know how much time off they have. They're wanting to know different benefits that the company is offering outside of your traditional, policy that you see in an HR handbook. If you've been at a company for 5 or 6 years and there's no talk about growth for you and you kind of are anchored in your position, you might need to look outside of where you're at to be able to go to that next level. It could be that your boss doesn't see in you what you see in you, or maybe it's just time for a fresh start so you can do something that maybe engages you a little bit more. However, if you're hearing from your boss that, we see you on this track and there's a clear path to growth, then, work on accomplishing those goals and so you can reach those things that you want and desire.
All right, good information.
Very good.
Mend that leg there.
I'll try it.
Yes.
Thanks, Bill.
Great ideas.
Dylan, thank you for all those ideas. We're glad you were here, and you can learn more ways to make your money matter on WKYT.com.
And if you have something you want us to discuss, send an email to news@WKYT.com, and we'll talk about it here.